A desert in Colorado sounds wrong, until you see this. In a state known for mountains, snow, pine forests and cold alpine air, giant dunes rise out of the ground like they were dropped here by mistake. Walls of sand stand in the shadow of the Sangre de Cristo mountains, and the contrast is so extreme that your brain almost rejects it. This is Great Sand Dunes, and it does not feel like a normal landscape. It feels like two different worlds were forced into the same frame. That is what makes this place so powerful in the first seconds. It is not just beautiful, it is disorienting. One side of the view says high country Colorado. The other says desert. And when those two realities collide in a single image, the place stops looking natural in the ordinary sense. It starts looking staged, almost like Earth built something here just to make people question what they are seeing. The dunes do not merely sit in front of the mountains, they challenge them. Loose sand rises where the eye expects rock, forest or snow-fed terrain. That visual contradiction is the first reason this place stays in your head. But the real shock is that this place is not random. These dunes exist because this valley became a kind of natural trap. Long ago, ancient sediments gathered here over immense stretches of time. A prehistoric lake once filled much of the valley. When that lake drained away, it left behind thick deposits of sand and sediment. Water moved that material across the basin. Wind picked it up, and the valley slowly stored the ingredients for something that now looks impossible. So, what feels wrong to us today was built slowly, patiently, and completely by nature. And this is where the story gets even better. Because the bigger mystery is not just how the sand got here, it is how it stayed here. Sand normally drifts away. It scatters. It thins out. But here, streams and creeks carried sediment into the valley floor. Strong prevailing winds pushed it toward the bend of the mountains, and opposing storm winds helped squeeze and stack it back on itself. That is how the dunes kept growing. That is how they became so tall. This place is not just a pile of sand. It is an active system built by wind, water, sediment, and the shape of the land working together again and again. This should not exist in Colorado, and yet it does. Because when you stand near these dunes, the scale starts to feel wrong. They are not small hills. They are towering walls of shifting sand, rising with a size that feels out of proportion to what loose grains should be able to do. That is what makes them unsettling. They look permanent, but they are not. They look solid, but they are always moving. Even when the dune face seems still, the wind is shaving one edge, softening one slope, sharpening another. Great Sand Dunes feels powerful because it looks like architecture built out of instability. And the place becomes even stranger when you realize it is not only dunes. This entire area is a collision of different worlds. Around the sand are grasslands, wetlands, forests, alpine lakes, tundra, and high mountain terrain. That means Great Sand Dunes is not one environment. It is several worlds compressed into one location. Dry sand meets seasonal water. Harsh exposed slopes sit beside living wetlands and mountain ecosystems. So, the first impression, that this is just a beautiful desert, is actually too simple. This landscape is far more alive, varied and strange than it looks from a distance. Then there is Medano Creek, which pushes the whole scene even closer to unreal. For part of the year, water flows along the base of the dunes and turns the edge of this landscape into something that feels almost impossible to process. Mountains behind you, sand beside you, water moving at your feet. That combination is one of the reasons this place does not just look rare, it looks incorrect. Most landscapes give you one dominant identity. This one refuses. It can feel dry and fluid, harsh and playful, ancient and temporary, all at once. And if the visuals were not already enough, the history adds even more weight. People have been connected to this region for thousands of years. That matters because it means this is not some modern curiosity that only became famous because of drone footage and travel reels. Human beings have been encountering this place for an incredibly long time and recognizing that it was different. Long before modern tourism turned it into a spectacle, this landscape already had presence. It already had meaning. It already stood apart. At night, that feeling changes again. The same dunes that look shocking in daylight can feel almost cosmic after sunset. The emptiness becomes bigger. The silence feels heavier. The dunes stop looking like simple geological features and start looking like shapes left behind by something older and harder to explain. Under a sky full of stars, the sand feels temporary, but the place itself feels ancient. In daylight, the dunes are visually shocking. At night, they feel almost supernatural. Its impact on modern life is bigger than most people realize. Great Sand Dunes matters today because it is one of those rare landscapes that can dominate photography, film, travel media, and public imagination in a single frame. It also matters because it shows, in visible form, how wind, water, sediment, and terrain can keep interacting over long periods to build and rebuild land. This place reminds us that the Earth is not finished. It is still being edited. And maybe that is one reason modern audiences react so strongly to it. In an age where people think they have seen every kind of landscape online, this one still looks wrong enough to stop the scroll. A desert in Colorado sounds wrong, until you see this. But maybe the most interesting part is that even the word desert may be too simple. Is that really what this place is? Or is Great Sand Dunes something stranger than that? Is it a geological trap? A wind-built machine? An ancient lakebed recycled into motion and pinned against mountains? That is where this landscape becomes more than scenery. Your eyes want an easy label, but the land keeps resisting one. And that is exactly why it gets under your skin. So here is the real question. If you had to describe Great Sand Dunes in one phrase, what would you call it? A desert? A mistake in the map? A natural machine? Or something even stranger? Because the deeper you look, the less this place behaves like a simple location. And the more it feels like an argument between forces that never fully ended. Wind is still shaping it. Water is still influencing it. The mountains are still trapping it. And you are standing there watching a landscape that is technically real, but still feels like it should not be. And once you understand that, the dunes stop being just a beautiful stop in Colorado. They become something more disturbing and more impressive. Proof that nature does not need to break its own rules to shock you. It only needs enough time, enough wind, enough sediment, and the right shape of land. Great Sand Dunes looks impossible not because it is fake, but because reality is sometimes far stranger than our expectations. And maybe that is why this place stays with people. It does not just show you something beautiful. It shows you that your idea of what belongs where can be completely wrong. If this place made Colorado feel less predictable than you thought, like this video and subscribe to Off the Map. Because next, we are going to a place that looks even less solid, even less believable, and somehow even more unreal. The Wave, Arizona/Utah. Why does this rock look liquid? And when you see stone flowing like it was frozen in motion, you will not be asking where the desert came from. You will be asking how rock itself can seem alive.